Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out Sengoku Basara for Sumeragi. I have no idea what convinced me to pick this up now, especially considering that this game is like 4 years old at this point. I was just fiddling around with emulators on my GPD Win 2 and I saw, ooh, what's this? A Sengoku Basara. I've heard that name like once before, I might as well give it a try, and it was alright. Then I thought, I wonder if the newest version of it is relatively cheap. So I went on PlayAsia, and it turns out it's still like 70 bucks on that site. God damn. So I decided to go and check the digital price. $15 on sale. $30 regularly. I figured, why the fuck not? By the way, the money that was still in my Japanese account that I used to pay for this was probably from PlayAsia, so you know, if you want to support me in the channel, it's in the description. Link and coupon code. Save you a little bit of money, helps me out in the long run. So, let's go play this. This game's insane. If Dynasty Warriors, or should I say to be more accurate, Samurai Warriors, is a cup of coffee, this game is a speedball. We're talking that silly, but let's go and have a little bit of a look around. So, this is just your manual. Won't worry about that. I can explain most of the mechanics once we get in the game. This should be the options menus. Sound sliders, a couple of other things, like camera inversion and all that, but nothing particularly massively important. Not entirely sure what this does, if I'm being honest. We also have an Encyclopedia, which is, you know, the similar sort of thing that they include in the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. And this is the free mode, but we won't be doing that because we'll mainly be focusing on the Sengoku Creation Sumeragi mode. I believe that's what it translates to. So, you start out with 50 characters. They're all unlocked by default. I believe in the non-Sumeragi version, Sumeragi is basically their Extreme Legends version of Sengoku Basara 4. I believe that this is all you get, but still, 50 characters is still a lot of characters. And they are all incredibly unique. For example, this lady uses guns. And we're not talking just like regular guns, we're talking pistols, a shotgun, a rocket launcher, and a bloody machine gun. Because yes, really. This lady, I don't know how that outfit doesn't rip. And every one of these characters is very unique in some way. This guy is incredibly full of himself. This guy up here is a fucking robot. No, I'm not sure why either. This guy up here looks bloody insane. And this lady down here, who we're going to be playing as for maybe one stage, has bloody demons coming out of the ground to do her attacks for her. Her partner is this guy, who looks like something out of Saint Seiya, who can turn his sword into a lightsaber. So we'll just hit continue up here, because I've already been through one stage with these two. And this is basically our story mode, although not exactly. This voice acting goes on for a bit, so I'm gonna start talking over the top of it. You do get a bit of plot, a bunch of characters just talk to each other, more or less. There are also cutscenes that happen in between stages that I'll be sure to let you watch a couple of. You get the same ones at the very beginning, but as the game goes on and you go down certain stages and routes, it gets a little bit more diverse with the characters showing the cutscenes and what happens to them and stuff like that. As far as I can tell, the general idea is that you're taking certain characters out of the running to create the Japan after the Sengoku period. That's what I think, anyway. I admit that I'm not too familiar with it, despite having played a bunch of Samurai Warriors games over my time, but there you go. Maybe one of these days I'll have to read up on the damn history of everything. Thankfully we can skip this by pressing on the touchpad. There's a lot more of that than you might think. So we get 3 stages to choose from here, and I've played 2 out of the 3, so I know which one well, This one's also got a fugitive and a bloody roulette going on, but this one leads down the story path. Also, it's got animals in it. Yeah, this is just the beginning. So, we have to pick what stage we want to go to first, which is interesting. We're going to go with this one just so I can show off all the mechanics straight away. And we're not going to bother doing any of the other menuing stuff right now. We're just going to hop straight in, because if I showed off all the menus, we'd be here a long-ass time. So, let's just go. I've already played the stage, so thankfully I know the mechanics and what's going on here. So, let's go. Look at her walk. Look at it. I love this guy. I only just realized his helmet is a rhinoceros beetle. That's great. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. God, look at me. But anyway, so yes, this is Sengoku Basara. And trust me, it doesn't get any less crazier than a lady coming along and using demon claws to beat the shit out of everything. I have played a little bit of Dynasty and Samurai Warriors in my time. Just a little, not much, but enough. And I can say that this game already beats out Samurai Warriors in just the outright craziness factor. So, the basic controls are exactly... Shit. The basic controls are exactly what you think they are. You press square to do a light attack, press triangle to do a heavy attack. Once that blue bar down the bottom of the screen fills up, you can do a Basara attack, which is exactly what it sounds like, i.e. a Musu attack. Or Moso, or something like that. I always forget what the pronunciation is in the heat of the moment. Hello, giant fruit. Well, it's not really fruit, that's a vegetable, isn't it? But yeah. But yes, you go through and you beat the shit out of people. And it actually does matter. Like, a lot of this shit actually does matter. It's great. Oh god, oh god, oh no, oh why. Oops, she got caught up in it too. Okay, let's swap back to her for a bit. You can swap between the two characters you... Ow! You can swap between the two characters you have by clicking in the left stick. You can also change... the right stick, I should say. You can also change this bind to L1 and X if you so desire, but I felt no need to do that. And there are, of course, other mechanics, but unfortunately this isn't the best place to demonstrate them, but those places are indeed coming up. You do also have multiple other attacks. Now, this game does improve your moveset the same way that Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors does. But, the way that it improves it is actually quite different. You see, you have to actually... Oh dear. He's stuffing his face. I have to go find him. That's what that is saying there. We'll get onto that in a minute. But yes, the game does improve your moveset the same way that the traditional Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games do. But instead of doing stuff like increasing your attack chain, it actually adds new moves. So just to use an example, you start out with a square and triangle move, but as you level up, you unlock the ability to hold the square button to charge a move. You also unlock the ability to hold the triangle button to charge a move. You also unlock the ability to hold block, which is L1, and then press square and triangle to do a move. It's incredibly interesting because it makes your movesets much more diverse. And I must say that every character in this game is an absolute joy to play because not one of them feels even relatively similar to another character. Now, the controls are the same, obviously, and generally you have the same idea. Like, for example, just... Oh, God, yes. You generally get the same idea going on as in you... as in, the movesets aren't the same, but the buttons to use them are. Playing the girl I was talking about that used nothing but guns is absolutely 110% different in comparison to using this lady, for example. And of course, they're all based off figures in the mythology of the Sengoku mythology. So, yes. Everybody just looks that slight bit ridiculous, but it's also a ton of fun. Because every single character being so different helps make the game feel just that much more interesting. I mean, you compare it to a game like Samurai Warriors where they have like 80 different characters, and every one of those characters, while they have slightly different movesets, all have a general sort of similar feeling main gameplay style. In this case, you have 50 different characters, and they all feel almost completely different from each other with their typical movesets. And it is fantastic. Especially since in this game you can wield 2 people at once, it means that you can take along someone who you're not particularly sure about, and then just in general have a... You can take along someone you're not particularly sure about, and then just have a generally more useful backup going on. You can swap any of the... You can't swap your main character, but you can swap your secondary character, which means that you can at least bring along someone who's relatively useful if you don't like your bodyguard, which is great. So, yeah. The game, of course, does have base capturing, but it's slightly different than your traditional Dynasty Warriors game, because your base commander is stuck there. They never move. This counts for both people at the same time, so you do have that thing going on where you need to go and beat them up, and sometimes you need to beat them up like 3 times over. It's kind of great. I'm looking for the fat ass. He does not appear to be here. I'm guessing he's gone up towards the middle, which is where he was last time, if I remember correctly. But yes, the base capturing works the same way, which is fine. Oh look, it's another roulette. We'll get on to what the roulette does shortly. But yes, the base capturing works the same way. Bases can be captured back. Oh look, I am now a bomb chew. Eat bomb. Okay, now he's run for it again, so now let's see if we can go find him. Okay, he's not here, but if I press circle here, giant bomb, kill everybody. Sweet. The thing is, though, and I guess I might as well talk about it now, but here's the thing about the game's level design. Now, if you've played Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, you know that while there might be a slightly different objective here and there are some, like, really simple objectives, like hunt down someone on this stage, for example, right? Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. 99% of the time, it's going to be attack the bases and you win. While this game doesn't outright get rid of this idea, and you do generally want to be capturing bases as you go along, every stage also has a unique mechanic to it. So here, for example, in this stage, the special mechanic is that you're chasing down Fatso, which is cool. But every single stage has some kind of mechanic like this. Like, there's one stage where you have to chase down these carts that are constantly going up the area in order to prevent something bad from happening. There is also a mechanic where... There are also stages that are somewhat more typical, but have something going on in the background. Like, for example, there's the Date Masamune stage, who is the only character's name I remember in this bloody series. But yeah, the Date Masamune stage has you racing him on horseback. There is also a stage where there are 2 people fighting and you need to survive for as long as possible in the outright chaos in order to actually get through. They'll open the gate and you can just go on through. It's almost impossible to effectively capture the entire thing. Oh wait, maybe I have to go up to the gates now. We'll see. Let's go up to the gates. Oh no, there he is. And now that I found him all those times, it opens up and he runs away. And now I can go on through. After a fancy cutscene, of course. Yep, it's incredibly over the top and it's fantastic. What else was I saying? But yeah, every stage has a unique mechanic like this. Every single one. There's one where the capture points go down into the ground every now and again. You have to wait by to get to them. There's, oh god, what are some of the other ones? I'm sure I could remember them if I could like see the stages. But yes, there's just a ton of unique mechanics that make every stage feel really unique. And that's great. The only downside is that the mechanics themselves don't actually change between stages, and you do have to repeat the stages as you go on. Time for a Moso attack, or a Basara attack as they call them in these games. But considering that there's over 40 stages in this game, no, actually I think it's just 40, but considering that there's 40 stages in this game, and that the fact that every stage is unique in this way, at least makes it so that the amount of variety going on is more than enough to help the game feel better about the whole, you know, every stage having a unique mechanic potentially becoming relatively stale after a certain point. And that's fantastic. Like, that is a really cool way to go about it. It gives everything a little bit of flavor and identity, which I appreciate. Like, even going through here, like, sure I might get bored of this stage if I go through it like 3 or 4 times, but at the very least, it's going to have a lot more replayability than at least it's going to have any more replayability than your traditional stage of a Musu game. Not to mention, the game's overall theme being outright bloody nuts and bizarre makes it so that everything just lasts that little bit longer. The first impressions stay great for much more time, which I appreciate quite a bit. And I haven't even started getting into some of the more insane mechanics. Like, for example, this is the roulette wheel. The roulette wheel happens every time you do a certain thing, whether it be kill that guy or capture a particular area that has the roulette. And every time it gets set off, any number of things can happen. Oh yeah, another new mechanic, because some stages can have more than one. It's great. It really is. But yeah, any number of things can happen. Like, you can transform into... I know this guy's name. But yeah, you can transform into this guy. And he does all sorts of shit. He can one-hit kill most enemies. He makes them all drop Tenka medals, which is one of this game's currencies. There's a ton of different currencies. You can get Super Fever mode straight away. You can end up transforming, fuck me, I can't get my words right today. You can end up transforming into a bloody gigantic spider robot that spins everywhere, kills everything just by stepping on it, and is generally just a ton of fun to go through and just take over a couple of places with. And of course, this can also come back to bite you in the ass, because if you get a skull, you'll get someone like bloody, Miyamoto Musashi dropping in, who's almost invincible, does a ton of damage, and you basically just have to run away from him. It adds just that little bit extra bit of variety. Not to mention a good amount of way to earn Tenka medals, which you absolutely need a ton of, because they are the best way of getting things like special weaponry and special moves and stuff like that. Watch this. At least I think this is the cutscene I'm thinking of. Oh, no, hang on. It's the next cutscene that comes up involving him, I think. Whoop, yep. This guy's got nothing but food attacks. I'm not even kidding. Also, he hides under his bloody shell like a goddamn beetle. But there is also another mechanic which I'm really a fan of, actually, and that's the chain system. Now, in Dynasty Warriors, you do have your kill count, and you do have a combo count. In this game, though, your combo count actually matters. So in case you weren't paying particularly close attention, and I don't blame you, because there's so much shit to be paying attention to in this game, just in general, right? But in case you weren't paying attention, when your chain hits a certain amount of hits, you go into Fever Mode. And Fever Mode increases the amount of money you can earn exponentially. There is also a bunch of, like, in-between modes here. Like Double, for example, gives you 2 times the amount of money that you would normally earn. And then you've got Triple, then Basara, then you go to Fever, which is 5. Then you can go to Super Fever, which is times 10. And you can actually improve on this yourself via going into your... I don't know exactly what this game calls it, but it's basically the equivalent to Dynasty Warriors' Rage Mode by pressing L1 and R1. This will hold your combo wherever it is at that point. So if you want to keep your combo going for as long as possible, you can do that. Your partner can also do things with you. So for example, if I hit L1 and R1 here, then hit L2 and circle, we can do a big-ass attack that will do a ton of hits and an absolute massive amount of damage. This will bring our hit count even higher. See? Super Fever. 3,000 hits. And we just need to beat the shit out of literally everyone, but we just beat the main boss, so unfortunately that's the end of the level. But here's the thing about your hit chains. They are actually way harder to keep in this game than they are in Dynasty Warriors. So, enemy AI is actually really fucking aggressive. Like, you have no idea how intense it can be. You can be fighting 20 dudes and then one dude will just run up behind you and hit you, and that's the end of your combo. In Dynasty Warriors, that would only happen on the higher difficulties. In this game, it happens even on the lowest difficulty, so you have to be keeping your eyes open. Especially if you're using a particular character that is particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? Especially if you're using a particular character that is particularly difficult to keep your combo with. You need to be paying really close attention at pretty much all times, and it is great, because it means that not only is it hard to keep your combo, but your combos are more important because it gives you more money. It also gives you more points, because this is actually something that's relevant to the game as well. See my 6 tiers of rewards here. We've got money, 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 whetstones and money, tons of money, and then 2 bonus weapons. Yes, this game has weapon crafting too. So the way this works is the more points you get in a level by doing things like taking over bases, taking out enemies, finding treasure chests, finding things like fugitives, which is something I actually completely missed in the level, unfortunately. And, well, I'm getting lots of Tenka medals, increases your score. And, of course, that gives you more stuff as you go up the chain. You can also improve on these by doing something which we'll get into very shortly, but you can also see all your stats here for how you did in the level. They'll talk up the top there about how the conquest of the world is going, and if you skip this, it will take you to the Sengoku status screen. I'm guessing that's what it is, because look, it's Japan. And it's talking about how certain forces fought with one another, and here come some of the ridiculous cutscenes. It's an adorable little deer.
様はどうしてどこへ消えたんでしょうか。
この辺り、月夜には闇をかける忍びの姿も見えるとか。
So that'll tell you what's happened, and then you get the opportunity to go on to the next stages. And there are also multiple endings for every character. Every character has at least 2 story endings, but some have 3. So you have reasons to go and replay to see the more ridiculous cutscenes and all that. And the sets of stages you get, depending on the stages you played beforehand, will change as well. But for the purpose of demonstration, we're just going to back out and we're going to go back and play as another character, because I don't want to be playing those 2 for the entire video. So we're going to hop on over to... God, I can't remember her name either. It's something like Saika, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, and everyone's wandering down and waiting for a new story level thing to happen. It's actually different, which is kind of neat. So again, we can choose our level we want to play, but we're going to actually take the time to go through the menus here because, well, that's what we do here. So, this is the Tanker Medal screen, and you come here to buy 4 particular things. You come here to buy an L1 and a square attack, which is a block and a square attack. And you need to come here in order to actually completely finish off the moveset, which is fine. You can also come here to buy 2 different weapons, and these 2 different weapons are very important. This one here actually adds a unique effect. See that little sigil there? It's the sort of like, it kind of looks like a fan, but not really. There's probably a name for it. I'm not that versed in Japanese culture. But yeah, that adds a unique ability to the character. And this one here is a massive stat boost, I think. I'm trying to remember. I read this before, but for the life of me, I can't remember. I'm going to include links in the description to translation guides that'll help you out with all this stuff, by the way. Because I'm that good of a person. And this is for everyone. So every character has a weapon with a unique sigil, a power-up sigil, an L1 plus square, and also an extra outfit. But this all costs money to buy, and as you can see, you need 5,000 Tanker medals just to get the unique sigil for the particular character. And yeah, even if you just want to be filling out your movesets, it's still 800 a piece. So even if you're earning pretty decently, it's still going to take you a while to fill all of that out. So while we're here on this menu here, we can pick our stage, of course. If we hit triangle, I believe that's how we change our difficulty. We can also press R1 to use playbooks, and playbooks will add things like unique challenges and boosts. The unique challenges are the ones under the exclamation points, and the boosts are under the helmets. Like this one here, for example, I remember what this one does. It shows the fugitive on the map. It isn't shown on the map by default, so it'll make him a lot easier to hunt down. This one here makes you twice as strong when you are fighting enemy officers. But if we go back up to here, this one here, for example, makes enemies recover parts of their health, but if you beat them, it will double your score. Stuff along those lines, right? So you can buy them in the shop. You can also come here to change your special attacks, which I don't think I've unlocked with these characters yet, but we might be able to very shortly. If we hit the square button, we can see what the rewards are for this stage, and they aren't particularly great. And as you can see, it changes depending on the difficulty that you've got. But if we hit the square button again, it's not actually letting me do it. That's bizarre. Maybe I have to actually, oh, right, yeah, there we go. So if I hit the square button here, it'll bring in the Lucky Hammer. And the Lucky Hammer actually changes the rewards. So you can use this to buff your rewards, but if you're unlucky, you'll get less rewards for it because, well, that's just a thing. That you just get unlucky sometimes. Do I want to fight? I think that's Yukimura Sonata, actually. Do I want to fight him for the extra weaponry, or do I want to come over here to go down the story route, also fight a deer lady, and get a ton of different weaponry? Let's see what the Lucky Hammer does. Bad luck. Great. Decent luck, so I'm back to normal. Alright. You earn Lucky Hammers as you progress through the game. Let's do this one because it's got the roulettes. Now, I can head up here to go back and just start playing the story again, but the level again, I should say. But let's go and have a look at our character customization. So this is my gun right now. Every weapon can be enhanced stat-wise. So, for example, I believe this here is my health, and I use whetstones for that. No, that was actually the attack strength, I think. Yeah, that's the attack strength. So, there's health, attack, defense, and I think the other two are range and speed, but don't quote me on that. You can also use the square button to increase the weapon's capability. Every weapon, there's 5 tiers of weapons, just like in Dynasty Warriors, and the higher it gets, the more powerful its maximum stats can be. As you can see, this one's maxed out at 1200. You can also press triangle to use the Lucky Hammer here as well to improve the weapons slightly, but that doesn't really seem to be worth the effort. Like, you get a minor amount of stuff from using the Lucky Hammer, and you're better off just using it just to try and get better stage rewards and stuff like that. You can also use a weapon to power up another weapon. So if I just do this, for example, I can take this sigil here, move it onto this weapon, and I will also get a slight boost to the stats, which I'm not going to do because there are things going on here. Actually, no, I think I will do that because that's a good demonstration of what I think that is. So that sigil there combines with that sigil to become an extreme sigil, and that extreme sigil is actually a more powered up version of the original sigil. So sigils are what you might think from Dynasty Warriors. They're basically just little benefits that go on your weapon, and they will improve it. So for example, I believe this one here just gave me 300 defense. This one here gives me 300 attack, I believe, and it also makes me harder to stagger. I believe that's the reason why I put that on this gun. And if we back off, we can actually press L2, was it? Yep, and here are all the sigils. Thankfully, there is also a fantastic little thing that translates all of these for you. There's all your unique ones, and I believe you can also fuse particular ones to make extra sigils. So there's a bunch of stuff going on there. You can also just deconstruct weapons to get resources, including whetstones, gold, and Lucky Hammer throws. It's a very simple system, but it works quite well, I found. If we move down here, we can see our moveset, including our special attack, which in this case for the gun chick is going to be a bloody rocket launcher. No, I'm not kidding. Again, you unlock these as you level up. I'm not even like... I think you have it all by the time you get to level 50. This is just costumes, which I don't have yet. And this, I believe, is... Yes, this is the level up screen. So if we come here, we can level her up using the growth points that we get throughout the game. And then we can spread this out amongst anyone as we please. The cost goes up as we continue on. So I can level her up for that, but that's a ridiculous amount of points, unfortunately. But yeah, you get the idea. They're just currencies that you earn as you go along. You can come here to pick your bodyguard, and you can see what moves they have equipped and what their weapon is, and you can also go and fix them up like that. You've also got a traditional shop, which you can buy stuff with using regular good old cash, including background music, playbooks, and just stuff like that. You can also buy weaponry and Lucky Hammer and whetstone stuff. So if you just want to like buy a weapon. There are also multiple types of weapon for each character, and they all have a unique effect on them. It's usually something like this weapon does fire damage, or this weapon will give you a little bit of extra money every time you hit someone and stuff like that. These three down here are just like, you know, the three previous weapon screens we went through. And this one here just goes to the PlayStation Store for DLC boosts and extra costumes and music tracks. Nothing particularly important there. And this is just your options screens again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's actually really basic in the grand scheme of things. The most you'd have trouble with here is the sigils, which are actually relatively easy to translate. So here we go. I haven't actually played this stage before, so we'll see what the unique mechanic is here. So yes, this girl does use guns, as I said before. But if we hold the square button, we can do a charge shot, and if we hold the triangle button, we can use double magnums. And if I hold the triangle button there just while standing still, I can pull out a motherfucking shotgun. Yes, really. Oh hey, big treasure box. With I think that's a whetstone room? Could be wrong. Probably am. We can also hold L1 and triangle. And now we're using machine gun. Yes, this is real. And it's so much different in comparison to using someone who has a melee attack, because you need to be careful with how this works too, because if you aren't careful with all of this, you'll end up in a position where you'll be reloading and you'll lose your combo chain. So this character is actually pretty advanced in the grand scheme of things. Very difficult to get a good hang of. But I like it. I like it a lot. In comparison to Dynasty Warriors, where for the most part at least, you'd be able to pick up a character and just learn them immediately. In this case... Oh god. Oh god, is this actually going to be dependent on my luck? Oh shit, this is a bad sign. Shit. 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 Yep, there goes the dice. I'm not even claiming to understand what's going on this stage. But yeah. Having it be dependent on my luck. Very bad. Not good. Not good at all. Let's move on. There are also things like hidden stuff in some stages, and there's also plenty of things like... There's also plenty of like neat little mechanics, and just little things that I haven't gone over yet. And it's also just helped out by the fact that it's absolutely bloody mental. Every single character, every single stage, every little thing just has some unique little thing like this. Like, I'm not going to say that all the characters are 100% unique from each other. Like, it's a game about beating the crap out of each other with Sengoku-era weaponry. Everybody's going to feel at least a little the same. But the variety is top-notch. I haven't played as one character who has felt like even remotely not unique. Like, compared to a game of Dynasty Warriors, where you can even just, like, swap weapons between characters, because that's something, just a thing you can do. In this game, where everybody just kind of locked to it and all that, it has so much variety going on, and I was playing Samurai Heroes before, which is the, third game, or, like, the only one that got reasonably localized. There was Devil Kings, but they changed the game so much, and it wasn't even really worth it, but... When I was playing the third game on the Wii, there was a character who had nothing but an absolutely gigantic, what's it called? Like, you know that ball and chain that you stick to your leg? He had nothing but that. It was ridiculous. He was really, really hard to use to boot, but it was still good fun to at least try with. Like, what else haven't I gone over? Like, I like the fact that if you just press L2, it'll prompt your other character to just go in and get on the attack, which is a really nice touch. Like, usually in games when you've got stuff like this, it can be really annoying to control them, but we're talking about this game here, and being able to just press a button and say, go there, do this, stuff like that. Right, so I got a 6 there. I don't know what that means. I mean, bugger if I know, but I still wonder if... Oh. I can still shoot it. Okay, that's a little bizarre. I'm just going to shoot him. I'm just going to stand there, I'm just going to blow you apart with a shotgun. Why not? This will be interesting. Let's swap characters for this. Yeah, like, even just the wide angles of attack and general just weight of this character feels so much different to the bloody Super Sentai looking bastard I was playing in the last one. That was the partner of the crazy what's-her-face bitch with the gigantic devil claws coming out from the ground. It just feels so much different, and it's great. And you can do perfect dodging by blocking and moving the analog stick, which gives the game a fair amount of timing potential in that particular sense. And everyone's also got an R1 attack, and everyone's just it's great. There's 5 difficulties, and just like in the Dynasty Warriors games of old, you have to basically like unlock the shit. You have to unlock the higher difficulties and then go through them with the stuff that you found on the lower difficulties. So, you know, I appreciate that. I guess my... Excuse me. I guess my one major downside of Sengoku Basara is that, at least in this game anyway, I believe that Sengoku Basara 3 solves this problem, and so does 3 Utage, and just, like, in general, just a problem with Sumeragi in general. Yes, I'm having bombs dropped on me because the game's a dick. It's like, look at this! Just this giant stack of dudes. I love it when they do that, especially when just like there's just this giant stack of dudes coming towards you. It's great. It's so comical and I love it. But as I was saying, the one major problem I can come up with this game is that there's no secondary mode. Now, some of you might not think of this to be a problem. And honestly, I can kind of see where they're coming from in this case, because considering that this game's got so many stages, it's all relatively unique, and you've got like 50 characters to go through with different story styles for each of them. This mode at least has a bunch of variety going on, and a ton of stuff to earn and all that jank. But yeah, it kind of sucks that there's no secondary mode. I wish that there was, but there's not. But frankly, I'm kind of too fussed to care about it, because there's still an absolute ton to be done here. And I don't mind in the slightest, because the game is just that enjoyable that I find myself not minding the fact that there's no secondary mode anyway. Oh god. Bomb people! Damn them! And dudes carrying around giant cannons. These guys are dicks too, they're all dicks. Every one of them. Giant bloody wheels of bombs and death, oh dearie me. Yeah, this game's great. It also runs fantastically too. This is on the PlayStation 4 Pro, of course. I don't even have boost mode turned on, but yeah, the performance is fine, mainly because this was a PlayStation 3 game originally, so yeah, it doesn't look that like high def, but frankly it's a Warriors game, or a Musu game, or just a general beat the crap out of hundreds of different dudes at once game. So you kind of want there to be more stuff on the screen as opposed to a bunch of really fancy graphics. That's generally what you want. So I'm fine with this turn of events. I'm disappointed because I haven't turned into the spider bot yet. I want to turn into the spider bot. I love the spider bot. Let's just go. Oh, yeah. I forget the arrows on the minimap change depending on what character you're playing. Oh god, don't pick on him like that. That's rude. Don't pick on the... Oh. What? What? What's going on? Why are there fruit and vegetable people everywhere now? Is this a score attack? This must be a score attack. This is stupid. I love it. This is just random, okay, but sure. Where's my friend? Why isn't she on the attack? Bloody timing. It's just a score attack. Random shit, because why the fuck not, huh? Like, why not? I wonder what happens if you win. That would be interesting. Like, what happens if you win this? Although it looks like I'm not doing particularly well. Let's change that, shall we? Never mind. Just constantly getting knocked on my ass by this guy because. Timing! God damn. Alright, so I'm guessing I lost that one. Did I just lose all my money? What a dick! What an absolute shit guzzler. That is... God damn, son. How am I doing on points, by the way? Not great. Probably not going to hit the, top rank, unfortunately. Oh well. Who are you? Whoever you are, you're slick as hell, and I appreciate it. Alright, let's do this. Ow. Oh god. That stings. Oh my god, I'm taking so much damage from him. Yes, you can chain shotgun twirls. Because that's a thing. Yes. Oh god, right. Well, I forgot. Oh dear. That's his Basara attack, and Basara attacks in this game make you invincible. Let's just go and see if I can get, not what I was hoping for, okay. There we go, right. I'm just trying to get this guy's, Basara bar to max so that we can do one of those big ass attacks to end off the fight with, but I don't think that's going to happen because we don't have enough, dudes around. Yeah, you just pivot over the top of him and then strike back. That's oh, and here comes a mash. We can just keep this up to make as much money as we damn well please, but we're not going to. It's going to beat him senseless. What's his plan now? Oh, oh god, not again. Run! Run away! Oh, screw it. Let's just finish him off with this. Oh? That's not the end of the fight? Well, he's back up. Any particular idea what the, any particular idea if anything's changed? Oh, other than me getting my ass kicked, definitely not. Let's just charge up a shot here and wait for him to be non-invincible again. again? Come on, mate. Oh, I didn't realize I had the blade machine gun out. There we go. Although one other thing that I admit that I miss from Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, just while my mind's on it, is being able to lock on to the bigger enemies. But at the same time, I can see why that would get in the way of like maintaining your chain for higher scores. So I'll call it a wash. So how'd I do on points? 15k. Yep. Sounds about right. Bunch of extra resources and some extra weaponry to see if there's any useful things that I can put onto my stuff. Run, girl, move those little legs. I don't think he stands a chance. I really don't. He's screwed. But yeah, might as well stop now. It's been an hour, and yeah, I got nothing else to say really. I think I went over everything I wanted to. Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi. It's great. It is a fantastic, like, build-up of the idea of the Warriors games, except it's doing its own thing, obviously. The character variety is fantastic. Not one character that I have had the time to play so far feels remotely similar to another. The variety in the stages, too, is really well appreciated. I appreciate that every stage has a unique mechanic that makes it so that they won't be so repetitive once you go through them again. The weapon crafting and the Tenka medals and stuff, that is all a good sort of extra gameplay loop incentive to keep going. The multiple endings for each character is great. It's got a good sense of humor about itself. It has just, it's fantastic. It's probably the best Warriors game I've played since Dynasty Warriors 8. The only real downside is that there's no secondary mode, but with the amount of variety they've put into the main mode, I really don't have that big of an issue with it. Because it feels like you're getting a slightly different experience every time, just due to the amount of stages there are. Like, hang on, we'll just pick a random character, it doesn't really matter who, we'll just go and have a look at the stage list. I'll see if I can remember the unique mechanics and all the ones that I've played so far. That one is one where you have to destroy cards that are going up the hill, I think. That one... No, that one's the one you have to destroy the cards. What's that one? Oh yeah, that's the one where the two dudes are fighting and you have to hold out for as long as you can. That's the one where the capture points go under the hill and you have to hold out against it. That one is weird. You don't have to fight any particular dudes. You just have to explore the mansion, get as much resources as you like, and beat the crap out of the two of them. There's the ones where you have to race Date Masamune on a horse. Shit, I don't remember that one at all. Neither of that one. Yeah. and there's the... Yeah. 48 stages overall. But yeah. If you ever have the opportunity to pick up Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi, or maybe even just Sengoku Basara 3 on the Wii, because now I have to go back and play that again, because that means I can actually play it on the go, thanks to my GPD win too. But yeah, highly, highly recommended if you are even remotely a fan of Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors. It is fantastic. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.